last week's video, I gave you 3 ideas for quick evening meals that your family will really enjoy. So if you haven't seen that video yet, go back and watch that. This is the second part with 2 more recipes that I think you'll really love. Tonight's dinner is a curry, and we love to eat curry. Being British, that's one of our favourite things to eat. And this one I'm making it really quick because I'm using up some turkey that I've got left over from Christmas. That was a long time ago now. That's been sitting in my freezer and that really needs to be eaten. So that's my really biggest tip, is to use meat that is already cooked when you're in a rush in the evening. And like I said the other day when I was making the chicken bowls, I like to have chicken breasts that are already cooked and chopped up, ready to go in the freezer for a really quick evening meal. So this is turkey tonight. I'm going to do a recipe that's similar to my chicken madras recipe. I don't have any pineapple, but I might put in some sultanas. We'll see. I don't know. I need to think about that a little bit more. I'm remembering my mum's turkey curry recipe that she used to make after Christmas that had raisins in and Branston pickle and all sorts of things that I can't get here. So I'm maybe going to try and imitate that a little bit, but it's going to have coconut milk, probably some banana, chopped carrots, curry powder, and then obviously onion and garlic and the turkey. As with a lot of the things that I make, this recipe starts off with chopping some vegetables and frying them gently until they're nice and soft. I use mashed banana in this recipe because it gives a delicious sweetness to the sauce as well as making it lovely and thick. I'm adding a good amount of curry powder, but just be aware that some curry powders have chili in them and might be quite spicy, so make sure you try it before you put too much in there, otherwise it might be too hot for some of your children. In goes the coconut milk. I had a bit of trouble getting it out of the tin because it was quite solid, but that just means it's really nice and creamy. Then I'm going to swill it out with some water and add the water to the pan too. I'm going to let this cook down until the vegetables are cooked through before I add the meat. So I'm just going to let this come to the boil, and then when that's boiling I'm going to add my meat. So my turkey is still a little bit frozen, so I'm going to let it cook for about 20 minutes, but if your meat is completely thawed you only really need to warm it up. So I would let the sauce cook down for 10 or 15 minutes just so all of the flavours combine nicely, and then add the meat just to warm up at the end for about 10 minutes depending on how cold it is and what kind of meat it is. If it's chicken, it won't need to be cooked for very long, it just needs to be really warmed all the way through. Today is Friday and it's my last day of solo parenting. My husband is on his way home as we speak, and I'm going to get dinner ready for tonight. It's only the middle of the day, but I'm heading out to work now, so I'm going to get dinner ready for tonight so we can just sit back and relax and chat instead of having to spend all evening in the kitchen. So tonight I'm making taco bowls. I've got some ground beef that is frying here, and I'm going to be adding some spices to that, and I'm just going to chop up a few vegetables and make a couple of different toppings to go on it. I'm not cooking anything except for the meat and the rice. It's a really simple, very quick meal that is absolutely delicious and everybody enjoys. I'm going to make a really simple guacamole. I don't even know if you can call it guacamole. I'm just going to crush these avocados, add a little bit of lemon and some salt, and that's it. As you can tell, these avocados were not the best. They were going brown, they were not great. But guacamole is a really good way to use avocados that are not perfect, because you're mashing them up anyway. The brown bits don't make much of a difference. I'm also making a little bit of a tomato salsa just by chopping up some tomatoes. I'm going to add a squeeze of lemon, some salt, and at the end I'm going to add some coriander just for a bit of extra freshness. So while the meat is browning, I'm going to add some smoked paprika, a whole lot of smoked paprika. We love that flavour. A little bit of ground coriander, I'd say about a teaspoon. About a teaspoon of cumin. And about a teaspoon of garlic. I'm just going to stir that together and let it cook down for a while. Now, I'm making this earlier on in the day, but if you were to make it in the evening, this would all probably be done in the time that it takes for you to cook your rice. So I would suggest getting your rice on, getting your meat frying, and then once that's frying and going and cooking, you can get your toppings ready. I've got two things left to prepare. Some pickled onions, and I'm going to grate some cheese, and then it'll be done and ready for dinner. And I forgot the salt. Definitely need salt. I make these pickled onions just by slicing up some red onions, adding about a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of sugar, and just about covering the onions with vinegar. I like to use apple cider vinegar for this. I do have a recipe over on the blog for pickled carrots, so check that out if you're interested. Now, grating cheese is one of my least favourite jobs to do in the kitchen, and you're about to see why. It ends up being a lot more work than it should be because this happens. And now I have to clean it all up, and it's taking about 5 minutes more than it should. But anyway, these things happen. It's fine. I still managed to get dinner ready before I needed to go out to work. It's just, I really hate grating cheese. And here is the final dinner. It was really delicious. There's so much colour on the plate between the tomatoes, the onions, the avocado. It makes a really delicious dinner that's very healthy and everybody enjoys. And you can add whichever toppings you like. So if there are food allergies in your family, It makes it really easy for everyone to put what they enjoy and can eat on their plate. Well, thank you for following along with me today. If you're looking for more quick meal ideas, don't forget to check out part 1 of this video, which was last week. It's got 3 other recipes in there, which I think you'll really enjoy too. And why don't you leave me a comment below telling me what your favourite quick meal is. I'll see you next time. Bye!